Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Anne Marie with Anne Marie Creates, and this is my project walkthrough and step-by-step tutorial of my next design team project for Country Craft Creations for the month of January 2025. And I was provided with the Back to School collection from Carta Bella as the paper collection to work with, and if you want to go back and look at all the individual pieces of the collection that I received, I do have a design team haul video on my channel. So what I made was a 6.5 by 8 folio that has 2-inch spine, and so this is the front, and you can see there's the inside, or the view from the top. Here's the back. And like I said, this is a 6 by 8 folio. It has a ribbon closure. This is beautiful navy blue organza ribbon. And before I get into this, just so that you know, all of the products that I used to create this album are available at countrycraftcreations.com on Tamara's online store. And I am an affiliate for Tamara's online store, Country Craft Creations. And if you're inspired to make my project or this project or any of the other projects I do, there is a link, several links down below. It's an affiliate link, and if you click on that link and you decide to make a purchase from Country Craft Creations, I do get a small commission. It's actually no additional cost to you. But what it does is it does allow me to keep bringing my videos and tutorials to you for free. So, okay, we covered that. So let's jump in. So what I did here, I used for the shell or the outside of the book, I used the Country Craft Creations Artisan cardstock. It's 100 pound, and obviously it's in black. And the inside pages, I will show you when we get there. I used the regular Artisan cardstock, which I believe is 87 pound, I think. But if you click the link, it actually will give you all the details. I'm pretty sure it's like 87 pound. So what I did, so we have, it closes like that. And on the front, I just love this School is Cool. These are some of my favorite subjects when I was in school, with math being my all-time favorite. Anyway, so these are some of the little enamel dots, the dark blue, the red, and the yellow. This is a sticker, this banner piece, and the star stickers. And I just popped this up on some foam. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Yep, you can see the foam dots there, or the foam squares I used. Yeah, and then this is just one of the stickers I put on the foam dot. A little bit of glare, I apologize. So the apple. And I wanted to have an apple out here on my desk as a little decoration, but I don't have any apples. I have oranges, but I don't have apples. Anyway, so you can see here, I love the apple paper. I used some of this blue cardstock. That is like the coordinating blue cardstock to go with the paper collection. Here I just added another little blue bow, and then one of the tags says back to school and excuse me, back to school and ready to learn. So we open it up here. I didn't put anything on here because the way the book closes, I didn't want there to be any extra bulk. Excuse me. So you can see this is the left cover, this is the right cover. The crayons, love the crayons. And I think you can tell there, but I used Vintage Photo Distress ink, just a little bit of it, just to get rid of the white. So if you're familiar with working with Carta Bella in the thicker pattern papers, there's usually a white core, so I just kind of knocked the white back along the edges. So this opens like this. You can see here, super cute little school bus. This is a sticker, and this is a sticker. Love the backpacks. Then it opens kind of like, we'll just do it this way. So we make, in the tutorial, we make an acetate tag. So you can see that's pretty much the same version of what's on my front cover, the cut apart. These are some stickers and some little ephemera pieces. And then this lifts up like that. And then I made 3 tags. So I think I had it like this. I really should pay attention. But so then that opens, and each one, there are 1, 2, 3, 6 total pages. So there's the 3 page sleeves on each spine. So that folds open. I'm going to just go this way. Each one has a large tag or photo mat. That just slides right back inside there. Okay, and then we have, whoops, get these out of the way. Then we have 2 mirror pages, pocket pages, that have some tags. Look at the school buses, absolutely love those. Here's a couple more of the cut aparts. This one I believe is a little, yep, little pop-up. And that's a library card. Who remembers these? Hands up if you remember these. Love it. Used to love going to the library. Okay, and then next, and again, this one has a superstar student. And actually that looks orange on the screen, but it's definitely a red. I left it open so you can slide a photo up underneath there, and there's plenty of room for journaling. Then we have this little gatefold. And this, who remembers these? This just takes me way back. Loved it. Love this cute little banner piece here. Then we have on the inside these flashcards. I was a big nerd, math nerd. I love the flashcards. And then we have the school lunchbox. What do you call this? The plaid. Yeah, I just thought it was so cute. And then some stickers, school is cool. And then over here, there's like a little school library card. And then this was a report card. Yeah, because you can see the different periods and then all the different subjects down here. I just thought that was so fun. Reminds me of grade school. Okay, and then next is, well, let's save that till the end. Let's go back over here. So then we have, I made this pocket from the envelope punch board. You don't necessarily have to have an envelope punch board. You could just make a normal pocket, but I had it and it was on my desk, so I decided to use it. And I just took this little report card. It's one of the cut aparts. I decided to just stick it on there because I liked it. Then I have a big tag here. There's a pencil, a problem solver, and a piece of yellow notebook paper. And that just goes inside here. Or actually, I think I had it tucked like that. And here is another tag left open. Playtime crayons. Okay, and then next, I'm just going to scoot this over. Next, we have this page that has a large tag. You are an amazing teacher. Okay, and then there are 2 flaps here, and you could see that tag just slid right underneath these 2 little belly band type things. And then that lifts up. And then there's all the alphabet in cursive. And so these just this tag slides right through there to just hold that page down. If you wanted to, you could add more tags behind there and it would hold it all in place. Then we have this page. It has a school bell and some crayons, and then just another one of the envelope punch board. I guess you can't really tell. There you go. An envelope punch board pocket. And then I love this colored pencils sticker. Super, super cute. back to school and ready to learn with the crayons. Basic skills in mathematics. So I just made like a little booklet. And then this is a spelling lesson. Or for spelling, it's a cut apart. It says spelling lesson number 1. Just super, super fun. Okay, and I just kind of stuck those in there. Believe and achieve, that was a sticker. And then here is another large tag. It just says school days. Again, that's left unglued so that you could slide a photo underneath. And this is one of the coordinating cardstock pages that's available with this collection. Then over here, we have another belly band. The A+ student. I love this little chalkboard. I actually meant to write something with my white gel pen there, and I just didn't get a chance to. But there's that penmanship sticker again. You know, you have to wonder how many children today can't read that. It's a shame. It's a downright shame. But again, I just made another booklet, and then the big yellow school bus, first day of school. So that would be really cute. I think you could put, you know, a couple of photos. If you have 2 children, you could put both their photos here with those cute little signs that everybody has their kids holding in their first day of school photos. Okay, so that brings us to these 2 pages. So you can see I just took a cut apart and little pieces of pattern paper. You could put a little photo here, or you could journal with a white pen or something down here and put a photo somewhere else. Same over here on this side, on the right hand side. But I don't know if you're going to be able to, I can't get it all in the screen. So here is the last 2 flaps. And what I did was create, excuse me, using the Graphic 45, the little tags. I think they were 2.5 by 3.5. And I just made them into a little waterfall. You know, my paper is black, but there's a lot of cream throughout the collection, so I thought it fit right in. So you can see here we have enough space to put a 2.25 by 2.25 inch photo, those little tiny photos you can print. So I added a bunch of the stickers, the school chalk sticker. I just thought that was so fun. And then I just put a little piece of black cardstock on the back of each one of these, so you could put a tiny little photo there too. Or you can journal with a white gel pen, this kind of pen, or a gold pen, whatever you'd like. So then there's this one. And then there's a sticker that says first day of school. And then it just repeats down here. How cute is that? And then I just show you how to thread the seam binding through the tags to kind of just hold it down. And then, or if you'd prefer, you can actually do like a waterfall, magnetic waterfall closure on here. I just thought it was fun. I love this red seam binding. And then underneath, it's actually a belly band. So then underneath I have, this is one of the tags from the ephemera and tags package. You can actually slide a photo through there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but I left, there we go. I left a piece of score tape right here. So after you slide the photo in, you can just remove the backer and seal that shut. I just thought that would be super cute. And then I love this. Remember, anybody remember this? What were they, Dick and Jane? That's even a little before my time, but yeah, just so, so cute. And that slides under there. And that one just slides in there. Now we'll move over to this side. Same thing, just different stickers, different pieces of the pattern paper. The school buses, a read banner, the backpacks, the ABCs, super, super cute. And then inside there it says an amazing teacher is hard to find and impossible to forget. Okay, and then again, we're just going to tie that shut. Whoops. Tie that shut. We're going to try that one more time. Okay, and then we have a couple of photo mats here. I love school, and then I love arts and crafts. I'm a scrapbooker. How could I not use that? But yeah, so then there's the Baxter wax crayons. I don't know if those were before Crayola, maybe. And those just slide right in there. And then last, we have the center pocket. These are, if you can see that ruler, piece of ephemera ruler. This is another piece of the, I don't know if this is ephemera or it was a tag. I'm not 100% sure. But, so then you have these. I see this with some journaling on it and the photo on the back. And then I love school, this little ticket. Could be slid up underneath, or I left this open so you could slide a photo or something underneath before you glue it down. So this was just super fun to make. And then, whoops, then we have here, school is cool. You can kind of see my little magnet there, but that's okay. And then we have just this big pocket that has, there's my, oops, the sticker with the books. And then, again, the alphabet, the Roman letters, the italic letters, and script. I thought that was fun. That's on the back. And then, first day of school, cut apart with a book sticker. I just kind of set that in there. And then this was on the cut apart sheet, I believe. Numbers 1 through 9. I thought that was fun. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus. And then I just matted that and just stick that right inside there. And that is our little folio. It's kind of involved, but I start on the left, right. You'll see in the video I struggled with this. Left, right, left. It's not tied shut, so left, right. Okay. I think I messed something up in there. Stuck on something. Anyway, so that is our little folio. It's actually very heavy. Carta Bella paper. I don't know if you can see. No, my camera doesn't focus on it. But there's the texture that's in the paper. I love this. The print, like the little protractor and the books and all the things. Super, super fun. So hope you'll stay tuned. The step-by-step tutorial is coming right up after this. And again, if you feel inspired to make it, this project, I would have, or purchase any other products from Country Craft Creations, I would really appreciate you using my affiliate link. So until next time, enjoy. I hope you make the project. And if you did, you don't necessarily have to use the back to school paper collection. You can use any collection. I think this would be really cool, really cute as a baby book, or no matter what the theme is. It's just perfect. It's nice and compact. It holds, I didn't count the spaces for photos, but I'm sure it holds a slew of photos. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You guys all know where to find me on social media, or you can leave a comment under this video. Thanks, everybody. Let's get started making our folio. I am using the Country Craft Creations Artisan cardstock. It is, obviously, it's black and it's 100 pound. I love to use this for folios when I don't want to use chipboard. So we're going to start off with, move this out of the way. I'm going to start off with the back cover. Hope you can read that. You'll want one piece of your 100 pound cardstock. Cut it down to 8 inches by 10 inches. And we're going to put that in our scoreboard. You can see that I've pre-scored it ahead of time. But we're going to put it in our scoreboard on the 10.5 inch side. Whoops. There we go. And we're going to score it at 2 inches and 8.5 inches. Okay, so that gives us 6 inches wide, and the back, sorry, is 6 inches wide, and two 2-inch spines. Okay, so we're going to set that one aside. Oh, and then we can fold. and burnish on your score lines. Give it a really good burnish. Okay, and you should have something that looks basically like that. I'm going to set that up here and take my second piece of 110 pound cardstock. This is my left cover. You want to cut down your piece of cardstock to 8 by 8 1/4. And on the 8 1/4 inch side, we're going to score at 2 1/8. Okay. Then go ahead and fold on that score line and give it a really good burnish. Okay. The next piece is our right cover, but this one is 8 inches by 8 inches, and we are going to, well, on the 8-inch side, it doesn't matter because it's square, we're going to go ahead and score at 6 inches. So that gives us our right cover and our 2-inch spine. All right, so then going to bring back my left cover. You can use score tape for this, but I prefer, oh, I can't get my glue bottle out. Oh, there we go. Yikes. I didn't have it tightened. I just had it, the pins, the cap sitting inside here. Oh, this could be a problem. No, no, it's good. All right, so I'm going to take excuse me, this is my left cover. I am going to use art glitter glue. Could use score tape as I mentioned, but I prefer to use the art glitter glue on the spines. Okay, and then all we're going to do, I'm going to lay that here, my left cover, in my scoreboard, kind of just straighten it up. Then I am going to bring my left spine and my back cover, going to bring it together. I'm going to get pretty close to that score line, but not, I don't want to go over the score line. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe that. I'm going to take my bone folder, give it a good burnish, really help that glue spread out. Okay, so there you can see now we have our left cover is on. And let's just go ahead and repeat the same thing. Oh, my desk is falling apart. Let's repeat the same thing on the right side. Give yourself a good bead of glue right along, right next to the score line, but not over it. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. So again, I'm going to lay this in my scoreboard just to help me keep it all squared up. I'm going to bring this one. I don't know if you can see that, but I got a little bit over. Now I have glue in my... I got a little too close to the score line there. I don't want to go over the score line because I want the cover to actually fold nicely. There you go. You see that little bit of glue I have right there? To clean up any little glue messes you might have. Okay, so there's our shell. Next we are going to create our little sleeves, which become the actual pages in our folio. So in order to do that, we're going to want 2 more pieces of your 100-pound cardstock. You're going to actually want to cut 4 of these because we are going to have 4 pages in the folio. There'll be 4 on the left-hand side, 4 on the right-hand side. So you'll want to cut 4 pieces that are 6 inches by 8 inches. Whoops. Then you're going to want to cut 4 more pieces that are 6 by 7. So you can set this one aside. I created the other 3 off camera for you. I didn't want this to be a 2-hour video. So anyway, so this is one piece that's 6 by 8. We are going to put that in our scoreboard. 8 inches across the top, so on the 8-inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 of an inch. And then you could come over here and score at 7.5, or you can rotate and score it on the 1/2 inch again. Whatever's your favorite to do. I typically like to do that, score it a 1/2 inch, rotate it, and score it a 1/2 inch. Don't know why. That's just something that I've always done from the beginning when I started crafting. So, you know how old habits die hard. So, all right. So we now have 2 score lines here. I'm going to fold on those score lines and give them a good burnish. Make it nice and crisp. You'll end up with that. Okay, then what I like to do is come through here. Oh, actually, I added my score tape. You can use wet glue, which I normally do use wet glue, but for the sake of the video, I'm just using some score tape to speed things along. But I'm going to go ahead and miter my corners. Okay. So I'm just lining my scissor up right there, just taking off a little slice. That's it. Super easy, and basically this is just going to remove some a little bit of bulk when you fold this over, and it will also helps when you're sliding a tag in and out of the sleeve. It also helps eliminate that first little piece of cardstock where tags tend to get jammed up, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to start off, or I'm going to start off by putting this in my scoreboard again. You know, just so it holds it square. I am going to find, let's use this one. I love this one. So find my pokey tool, and I'm going to remove the paper backing from the score tape. I'm going to take this bottom left corner and line that up with the bottom left corner of my little sleeve. And I'm, again, using my scoreboard to keep everything square. Oh, wait, I'm stuck. Oh. Okay. So, give it a good burnish. So you have something that looks like that. Then I'm just going to do the same thing over here on this side. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Remove the paper backer, and then just fold this over. Try to keep it lined up. And there we have our sleeve. What we're going to do with this, oh, yikes. Sorry. That's why you need to clean your desk off. Anyway, so this is one of the hinges, one of our spine hinges, and these pages are going to just fit right over like that, and that becomes one of our pages. So you can just go ahead, and I've already created mine. I created a total of 4 of these, and we will build upon these base pages. So let's make our hinge. We're going to actually make 2 hinges. So start off with a piece of your cardstock, 4 inches by 7 inches. And I didn't write on this one because I didn't want it to show. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, so 4 inches by 7 inches with the 4 in the top right hand side of your scoreboard. We're going to go ahead and score at every 1/2 of an inch. So 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and 3.5. Okay, so then what I also like to do is take a paper trimmer and I just shave a little bit off of I'm talking just a little bit off of the edge. I have to remember how to use this one now. I want to shave a little teeny bit off. Ouch. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Okay. Good gravy. Why am I having such a hard time? Okay, so there's my line. See, this is why I hate this one. There we go. I shaved just a little smidge off of the edge, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to take a little bit off of that side and a little bit off of the other side. I don't even think this is 1/8 of an inch. It might even be a little bit skinnier than that. So we cut our hinge to 4 by 7. We scored at every 1/2 of an inch. And then we just trimmed a little smidge off of each end. So then what we're going to start doing is just folding. I'm just doing accordion folds for now. I'm going to try to get this as straight as you can. As you can see, I'm already crooked. I will make it work. Okay. All right. So then, I'm going to open it up. What we need to, what we need to have in the end is something that looks like this. Oh, it's hard to tell with the black. Okay. So these first 2 folds, I am going to, and I'll just use glue here. Lay it down. Ooh, way too much glue. Okay. So I just created that first hinge. This next one becomes a gusset. So then I'm going to fold on the next one. And create the second hinge. So under here, and add some more glue and just kind of squeeze that together. Okay, so now you have 2 hinges. You have a hinge, gusset, hinge. Then we're going to have another 1/2 inch gusset, and then we have our last little hinge. Before I do that, I am going to burnish that one. Open that back up, and I'm going to apply some glue on this skinnier edge, because remember we trimmed this down a little bit. Okay, and the reason that we trimmed that down a little bit is, okay, so I think you can see it right here is the edge of that, the hinge. I like to trim that a little way so that when you set this down in your book, there's no overhang right here to get in the way to cause any type of interference when you're turning pages. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we have our 3 hinges. I know I said we're only going to have 2 pages, and it's actually going to be 3 pages, but we're doing something different on the last flap. So I like to just play with this a little bit, you know, change the direction. Just kind of breaking down the fibers, change the direction of the flaps. Okay. Right, so then what we'll do next is add some score tape. I like to use 3/8 because our hinge is 1/2 inch. I like to use 3/8 inch score tape, and it'll look like this. Then I also add a little bit of wet glue to give me some time to scooch it around in case I put it in crooked. So then the last thing before we glue it in is I also like to miter these corners to make it easier to slide. To make it easier to slide the sleeve on. So it's really hard to see. It's very, very black. Okay. So let's just do that again. Miter. You don't want to cut into the gusset, just right up to the edge. Okay. So you're going to want to make 2 of those. So you'll have 2 that look like this. Okay, I just didn't put any score tape on this one. All right. Oh, I need to put score tape on that one. And of course, I don't have any 3/8 inch score tape on my desk. Okay, so I'm just going to go with a 1/4 inch. And I'll just double up on the glue. Give that a little bit of a burnish. So now we have our 2 hinges. One for the right side, one for the left side. So I'm going to set one of those aside and bring our book back in, or our shelf. And just try to center, just put this in your scoreboard. I like to scooch it up to the top so that that stays, you know, nice and straight. Then the next thing I do, you don't have to do this, but I can't find, oh, here's my pencil. I like to take a pencil, pen, marker, use whatever you like. Remember, our book is 8 inches tall, and our spine is 7, but our spine is 7 inches tall. That's going to give us a 1/2 inch on both the top and the bottom. So to help me out with that, I like to take my handy dandy Tim Holtz ruler, or ideology ruler, and oops, let's line it up. Sorry if I get my head in the shot, I don't mean to. I am just going to draw myself a really quick line to help me, give me an idea where to actually place that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove my score tape from the back of my hinge. And I'm going to take, this is where I was saying, you know, give yourself a little wiggle room. This is probably overkill, but I'd rather safe than sorry. Okay, so I'm going to, again, the bottom of my hinge, I'm going to line up as straight as I can with that 1/2 inch mark, and I'm trying to hold the flaps straight up and down, and then I try to look to see if I put it in straight. It's barely sticking. It looks straight to me. It looks straight on camera. I am going to take a deep breath all these years later, and I still do the same. Oh, I think I moved it. Did I move? I moved it. See? Okay, careful, careful. I think it's straight. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down and wipe away any excess. Now that will all dry clear. But what I like to do, I'll most likely put in a piece of pattern paper, little strips of pattern paper here and here. If you would like to, before you glue this down, you can actually mat your spines. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do. Just depends on my mood. So there you go. Let's put the other side in. Okay. Make sure this is right. Oops, wait, we didn't mark this one. Wait, hold the phone, hold the phone. Okay, so let's give ourselves our 1/2 inch mark. And what I'm doing, because I know that my gussets or our gussets are 1/2 inch, I'm starting at the 1/2 inch mark right here and just drawing to the, let's see, 1/2 to 1.5 for our little line. Now, you may have a better way or a different way you do your hinges. You go ahead and do it your way. This is just how I do it. Okay, let's add some glue. Okay, take a deep breath. And go ahead and like I said, I try to lay it down straight. And if it's a smidge off, if it's a fraction off, nobody's gonna know. Okay. So then, I'm just gonna grab my bone folder. Let's give that a good burnish. This one's a little bit tighter than the other one. Okay. I don't know if you see that little bit of hesitation on that one. I'm not really sure what's happening there. Okay. There we go. So we have our... Right, so let's start with, I'm going to call this left flap 1. So we will need one of our base pages. Remember, we just made these base pages. And then we're going to do a pocket. So this is the left 1 flap pocket. And I hope you can read that. I made a little mistake there. This should be 4.5 inches by 8 inches. Let's go over what we'll need first, and then we'll go over scoring and cutting. So 4.5 by 8. Then we're going to want one piece that is a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then this is a tag. It's 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. So it's 5.5 inches wide by 6 1/4 inches long. I always try to start off with the width first when I write down the dimensions. Don't know if I've ever said that. I just assume people know that. So we're going to start with the pocket. Okay, we're going to go into our scoreboard. Our much loved, very dirty scoreboard. So what we're doing, because this is a pocket, is we are going to score at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Doesn't matter where you start on this one, as long as you score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So I just happen to start with the 8 inches across the top. I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch. Rotate that 1 turn. Then score at a 1/2 inch. Rotate that again and score at a 1/2 inch. So you end up with something that looks like that. Okay? Let's set that one aside and take out the 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. We're going to put this in the scoreboard with 3 1/4 3 3/4 across the top, and then we're just going to score it 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so that's the scoring on that. And then what I am going to do, now you don't have to do this, you can actually just leave your pocket like that, but I have this envelope punch board. I think a lot of people have that, and I never use it. So I'm going to go ahead and use it on this. Excuse me. But before I do that, I am going to fold and burnish on the left and the right tab, just to kind of get those out of our way and to make measuring this a little bit easier. So if you've never used a... what's happening here? Oh, there we go. If you never used an envelope punch board, there's this ruler here. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to make this look like a file folder, kind of a pocket. So it's hard to see it right here, but there's a number 1 right there. I am going to take from this folded edge. Remember, we folded that tab under. I am going to go ahead and line that fold up with the number 1. And then I'm going to punch it. Okay? Then you end up with something like that. I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to, again, add up the folded edge. Again, we have our flap folded over or folded under. And I am going to line it up at 1 inch and punch again. And you can go ahead and set that aside. Okay, so now I'm going to just line this up on one of these black lines here to try and keep this straight. I always screw this up, but I'm going to try to line up my ruler with, you know, the little valley there and from the file folder punch. And I'm going to just take my craft knife. You can do this with scissors, although I'm not very confident that I can cut it straight with scissors. Okay, line that up, and I'm just going to cut just from here. I'm not going to use a whole lot of heavy pressure. I'm just going to do more passes here. And then you end up with something that looks like that. That's just fun. Now you don't, again, you don't have to do this, but if you have the envelope punch board, that's great. If you don't have the punch board, what you can do, again, is line this up on your scoreboard. You can, where'd my pencil go? You can measure over 1 inch from the end of your cardstock. Measure over 1 inch, make a mark, and then you can come down 1/2 of an inch and make a mark, and then you can do the same on this side. Come down 1/2 of an inch, and then you can just kind of cut it off here, you know. Then you could just kind of take your scissors. I'm not going to do it on this one, but you could cut it, and then just, you could, basically what I'm saying is you could just square this off if you wanted to, if you don't have an envelope punch board. But again, I just felt like using it today. You don't necessarily need it. Okay, so I am going to, let's actually cut out these corners here. So let's go ahead and miter the corners, get rid of that bulk. I'm going to do the same right here. I'm going to angle that. Okay. Then, oh, I never folded this one. Okay. sure you fold and burnish on that bottom. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and form the pocket. I like to do this first. Just put a little dab of glue. Kind of hold that down there for a second. Apply some pressure. Okay. I'm going to pull my page in. And no worries about this. This will be covered up with pattern paper. I'm going to add some wet glue onto the tabs. And again, you can use score tape. I don't typically like to use score tape on a pocket because sometimes I don't always line things up perfectly. And you know, I might leave some exposed adhesive, and then when you put a tab in, sorry, not a tab, when you put a tag in the pocket, sometimes it just sticks out, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick that pocket down. And I'll just show you. It's just a little bit of a fancier pocket. When you put a piece of pattern paper there, it'll look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. Ooh, I have a little bit of glue seeping out. Make sure to get that cleaned up. I keep thinking that's glue, but that's the actual. Okay. All right, so this is the tag that's going to go in the pocket. Okay, but what I want to do, oh, I put that on, thank goodness there's no direction yet. I put that on the wrong side. You want to actually glue this down. It doesn't really matter, you could do whatever you want, but glue down your pocket, the bottom of your pocket on the right hand side. I actually meant for mine to come this way. So then grab your 3 3/4 by 4 1/4 little cardstock flap and fold and burnish on the score line. And let's miter those corners, get rid of the little bit of bulk there. And I want to apply some glue here to the tab. Then I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to center it. Try to straighten it up. I'm just going to center it here. So this is what, 6 1/4 inches. Actually, let's move it up here. 6 1/4. Okay. So I just glued down the edge of the flap. You can see here. I just eyeballed it. I'm not even sure if that's straight. Yeah, so I'm just turning it into a tag that has a flap. So it will go in your pocket like that. And once we put the pattern paper down, it'll hold that flap down. So that is the front of left flap 1. So we're going to move to the back. So on the back, we just have 2 fun little flaps. We're going to cut 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, just like this one was. And then we're going to put that in the scoreboard with the 3 3/4 across the top, and we're going to score it at 1/2 of an inch. I almost jumped the track. And we're going to do that on both. 3 3/4 at the top, score at 1/2 inch. Then we're going to do 2 pieces that are 3/4 inch. 3/4 inch by 5 1/4. Okay, and then we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 4 3/4 on both of these. Or you can do the way I usually do it, 1/2 inch, rotate it to the other side, and 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish on those score lines. Okay, so then we have, this is our left flap 1. I'm just going to take out this for now, turn it over, it becomes left flap 2. Okay, I am going to line this up. Try to line, actually let's do it this way. Let's scoot it over. So what we're going to do is we're going to center this top and bottom, these flaps, sorry, top and bottom. Then we're going to add, let's fold and burnish on those score lines. That's going to get covered up too, but we're going to add at the bottom here this little, it's kind of like a belly band, but it's not a belly band. That's going to serve, I'll show you, it's hard to do without gluing it down. Let's fold and burnish this one as well. And then we're going to put this one probably down here. And then we're going to slide a tag in between to kind of to hold down the flaps. So let's glue down the flaps first. And I am not going to miter the corners or angle the corners on this flap because, you know, it's going to get covered with pattern paper anyway. So I'm going to try, excuse my head, try and line this up, the folded edge of the flap with the top of the page. Make sure and clean up any glue that seeps out because or it'll glue your flap down. Let's do the bottom. A little too much there. Okay. Try to line these up, these sides up as best you can. Bring that to the bottom. Oop, this one's not quite straight. Okay, so you see you have your 2 little flappy thingies. Now you can do this 2 different ways. I don't know if there's enough to, no, I don't want to wrap it. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it like we would do a belly band. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. And I'm going to put this one, I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch up from the bottom of the flap. Okay. And then we will do the same here. About 1/2 inch from the bottom. Hope that's straight. That's straight. No. Okay. Alright, so then you have something like that. Let's give that a minute to catch. Then I'm not going to cut it at this point, but what we're going to do is we will have a little tag. Oh, getting stuck on there. Oh, for heaven's sake, come on. What's happening here? It will slide up this way. And then I'm actually going to use one of the cut-aparts from, or we'll use one of the cut-aparts from the collection. And it'll just be just like a fancy little thingamajig. So that is our page 1, our flap, our left flap 1 and 2. And I'm just going to go ahead and add, just to help keep, well, no, I can't do that. Do it this way. Just to keep these from flapping all over the place while we're trying to glue it. I'm just going to put some paper clips there to hold it down. Actually, I can't do it from that side. Never mind. Let's go ahead and glue that. You want to make sure that you have the right, so you have your sleeve, right? So this is left flap 1, left flap 1, page 2. I am going to go ahead, add some glue. Whoa. Add some glue to the flap here. Don't have to get crazy, but some on the outside, some on the inside. I like to give it a little bit close to the fold, or to the hinge. And I'm just going to kind of go for it. Just stick it on there. Oh. Okay, I want to make sure I don't get too close to the edge of the hinge, and you can see now I have glue everywhere. That's where your dry baby wipe or your dry paper towel comes in handy. Okay, let's clean that up. So there we have our first page. I am going to slide that tab and that flap back in there. Okay, I am going to add those paper clips now, just to keep it from flapping all over the creation. Okay, there we go. Maybe I will slide that in there. Okay, so then we will have page 2. Alright, so we'll need another one of your sleeves, your base page sleeves. Page 2. Oops, wait, that's not the right one. Page 2 has quite a few different pieces. Very simple. Nothing all that special. We're going to kind of make this a frame pocket. Okay. I don't know if you can see, if you can tell, but what we did, or what I did, was just cut out a square here, and I'm going to show you how I did that. But to start off, you'll need one of your base pages. You will need a piece of cardstock that is 4.5 inches by 7 inches. And I purposely did not write on this because I don't want to have the white text all over the place. So we'll put it in here like this. Put her back where she goes. Okay, so put it in your scoreboard. Doesn't matter which side you start on again, but we're going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So you score 1/2 inch, rotate, 1/2 inch, rotate, and 1/2 inch. Okay, so you need a piece that is 3 5/8 by 7. we're going to put that into our scoreboard, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, and we have our base page. So we need that, and then we have a tag that is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then we're going to make another one of those envelope punch board pockets. You need a piece that's 4 1/8 by 8 inches. We're going to put that in our scoreboard and score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1/2, 1/2, and then rotate it to the second long side and 1/2. And as you can see, I already cut out. I thought my camera was on, but it was not. I apologize. I already cut out the corners, but what I did not do is trim the edges. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead first and add. Let's make a little pocket. And I'm not going to walk through the steps again on how to do the pocket, because we did that earlier. You can kind of just rewind or just make it a normal pocket. Okay, I'm going to have this pocket, the fold of the bottom of the pocket is going to go along the left hand side here, so you want to make sure you line all that up. Okay. Get a good burnish. And again, it doesn't really matter which side. This is a right side opening pocket. It doesn't matter which side. You can put it on the left. You can put it on the right. I just decided to do it this way since the other one was the opposite way, if you recall. On page 1, the pocket is a left loading pocket. So I made this a right loading pocket. So we'll put our photo mat in there. Actually, yeah, we could do that now. Put our photo mat in, and then we can take this other flap that we scored at 1/2 inch. Okay, so you can do this one of two ways. You can just lay this right, the folded edge of the flap right along the edge of the page, or you can miter the corners. Apply your adhesive to the inside of the flap and kind of just scooch it inside like that. I think I'm going to do that on this one. Okay. So I'm adding my adhesive on the inside. Whoops. And I'm just going to slide that right inside the sleeve. Just up close to the just up close to the score line, but not going past the score line. Okay, I think you can see that. Stick that down. Okay. And as we get closer, or as we start decorating, I will be adding, I think I'll use seam binding here for a closure. Okay, so that's just a little tag for 4x6 cut apart. or a photo. We may add one or two more in there. So that is the front of left flap 2. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like I'm all over the place today. So we're going to turn that over. And then we actually have just a regular belly band for this page. And this belly band is 2 inches by 8 inches. Going to put it in our scoreboard on the 8-inch side with 8 inches in the top right. We're going to score it 1/2 inch. Then when I rotate, score it 1/2 inch again. Or you can score it at 1/2 inch and 7.5 inches, whichever way you like to do it. Some people are really picky about how they how they score. I say do whatever you like to do. Okay, then because tags will be sliding in and out, I am going to remove that little bit of bulk there. Make it easier for the tag to go in and out. Okay, just make sure our page is facing the right direction. Add some glue there. I'm actually going to spread this out to the edges with the belly band. Because it's going to take a little bit of abuse. Alright, and then I'm just going to center this top to bottom. Looks good. We'll give that burnish. Make sure I can slide our tag in there. Okay, so that's page 2, or left flap 2 done. We can actually go ahead. So make sure everything's good. Add our glue to our hinge. Everything's facing up the right way. Lay this down, make sure it's straight as I can get it. Oh. Okay. Again, I don't want to cover that score line. It'll cause interference and just bad things happen. Okay. Go, get some good pressure. There's a few layers on this one. Oh, another thing that I probably should have said. If you would like to round your corners or use a fancy corner rounder, sometimes it's easier to do that before you attach it in the book. But I think I might keep mine square for now. Okay, so there we have in our left cover, we have on the left spine, we have flap 1 and flap 2. We will come back and we will do this one towards the end. But you can see we have the flap, we have a 1/2 inch gusset. We can do a lot of decorating with we have a 1/2 inch. We can use chipboard. Embellishments. We can use, cardstock embellishments. We can use flowers, whatever. So yes, and there's plenty of room All right, so now we're going to move to, let's just do the inside back cover, just since we're here. All right, and then we'll move over to the right side. So the inside, not inside back cover, I'm calling it the center pocket and the center flap. Okay, so we've made about 13 pockets already today. So let's go ahead and cut our piece of cardstock, 5 inches by 7.5 inches, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So put it in your scoreboard. Again, doesn't matter which side you start on. What's important is you score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So you 1/2 inch, rotate, 1/2 inch, rotate a third time or a second time, and score at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to do a center flap. Okay, and the center flap measures 6 1/4 by 6 1/2. Okay, and then we're going to put it on the 6.5 inch side in your scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch. So this one's easy to get mixed up because it's only, the sides are almost the same dimension, but just make sure you score it at 1/2 inch on the 6.5 inch side. Okay. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It'll still look okay. So let's go ahead and you can add your score tape, or you can wait and use wet glue. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that little piece. I'm going to cut out that square. You'll notice, you may have noticed already, I do it different ways all the time. But in the end, it ends up the same. Alright, so I'm going to fold and burnish on the score lines. While I'm doing this, I just want to say that thank you for watching my video today and supporting my channel. Like you always do, everybody's always so wonderful supporting my YouTube channel. And it'd be really fun to let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Like, where in the country or where in the world do you live? Where in the world do you live? That's always fun for me. It's always fun to see, you know, that we have crafters from all over the world. I had somebody, one of my videos was over in, was it Zimbabwe? I think. It's just awesome. Okay. Hold that thought. Let's actually, we formed our pocket. We're going to put the folded edge of the bottom of the pocket. We're going to line that up in between the 2 score lines on the on your back cover. So you don't want your pocket to go over the score lines, because bad things happen. Yeah, because there'll be interference and your spine won't be able to move smoothly. So let's just stick that down. And so there we have our pocket. Okay, you can see I just have the scrap piece of paper. There's our pocket. Okay, and then we have our flap. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish that one again. It just doesn't feel like it's just not a happy flap. Okay, let's add some glue. Or again, you can use score tape here. Okay, and then I am just going to center this along my back cover. Center it as best you can. I have to turn mine upside down. Can't see it. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Give it a good burnish. I tell you, I've been crazy with the glue today. Thank goodness that'll be all covered up. So there's that flap. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a magnet. So I have these basic gray magnets. These are the large magnets that you can find at Country Craft Creations. So I need 1 plus and 1 negative. So as I was saying, it would be fun. It's always fun to hear where our subscribers are watching from. So leave me a comment. And if you haven't already, if you can like and subscribe, that really does help my channel. And also too, I now have an affiliate link with Country Craft Creations. So if you're watching my video and you're inspired to make the project or something similar, a project of your own, if you would click that affiliate link, that takes you right to Country Craft Creations. Doesn't cost you any additional fee, but it does pay me a small commission, and which is actually very helpful to help keep my videos free. So anyway, if you would kindly do that, I would appreciate that. No pressure, but if you're inspired to make the project, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so you can see what I did there. I just added the magnet. Just like came down about an inch, maybe inch. Tried to center it. It doesn't matter so much because it's not going to be seen. But what I like to do with my magnets is add at the end of the card the score tape. Oh no! I like to add some score tape here, just a little extra, because that adhesive on the magnets can let loose over time. I have had that happen. It's not to say that the score tape won't let loose either, but it's just a little insurance policy. So what we have so far is we have, it's hard to see because everything's black, but we have our left side. We have left flap 1 and page 2. We have left flap 2. We'll call it front and back, front and back. And then we are going to add some fun little flap things over here. But then we have our center flap with the pocket, and we will add some tags inside there. And then, so next we are going to do the pages on the right-hand side, or the right side spine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move over to the flaps that are on the right-hand side of our folio, or the ones that are going to go in on these hinges. So, if you recall a little further back in the video, we already made this pocket page, the acetate pocket, and I sort of, I explained it earlier in the video. I don't know, I meant to put, this was supposed to be flap number 2 on the left, but I made a mistake and I set it aside, and I didn't end up putting it on the left hand side. So we're going to use this as page number 1, or sorry, flap number 1 on our right hand side of our book. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so we already made the acetate pocket. Okay, now what we're going to do is make a little flap. Let me move these other ones aside. We're going to make a little flap that goes up here. So for that, we want a piece of your black cardstock that's 3 1/4 by 5 7/8. So it's 3 1/4 tall by 5 7/8 wide. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So we're going to put it in our scoreboard and score it 1/2 inch on the 3 1/4 side. So on the short side, we're just going to score it 1/2 inch. Then, as you can see, I added some score tape. You can use wet glue here if you want. Where is my bone? Who took my bone folder? Okay. Right where I left it. Isn't that always how it works? So I folded on my score line and I am giving it a good burnish. Okay. Then I'm going to bring my page back in. Oh, you can see my face. Sorry. I'm going to remove the paper backing. Okay, and then I'm going to just put this in my scoreboard just so to keep it from shifting around. And I'm going to line up this bottom corner with the folded edge with this bottom corner. I turned my page upside down. I think you saw me do that. I like to start in the left bottom corner. Don't know why. I think it's just the way when I learned to do it, it's how I did it. Okay. And then stick it down, give it a good burnish. I actually meant to center that because this is only 5 7/8 wide and the page is 6 inches, but you can't really even tell. So there we have our little flap, and it's flapping, but we actually have a couple of tags that we're going to put in the pocket. The first one is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. The second one should be 4 by 6. Yes. And they're just going to slide in there. We're going to put some cut aparts on there, do something fun. Yeah, so that is page 1, or flap, yeah, right flap 1. Okay, so let's turn it over to flap 2. And what we're going to do, this is the next flap. We're going to have 2 side by side. The paper clips I have on here are just holding the pages for the next page, or the flaps for the next page. So this is a pocket, and you can see I kind of made it a sort of an angled pocket. And we're going to just fit that right there. And then over here, this one is going to mirror, this one will mirror this one. So, and I've already done this one. So what we need is a piece of cardstock, 3 1/2 inches by 7. And because it's a pocket, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So let's do, again, doesn't matter where you start because we're going to score the same on all 3 sides. 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. Okay. So I'm going to take a piece of score tape and add it to each one of those 3 1/2 inch flaps. Again, here you can use wet glue just to speed up the video that's already 8 hours long. I'm going to use score tape. I'm going to go ahead and cut out that little corner like we've done several times. Then also too, let's remove this little bit of bulk up here, angle this. Okay, and we're going to fold and burnish. as I mentioned, this is the one that's going to go on the right hand side. And this one's going to go on the left hand side. So what I did is I came over, let me make sure. Okay, so I came over 3 inches. I have to make sure that we do this on the right. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my scoreboard. And I'm going to come over. So this is a half. One. Where's my pencil? Actually, I'll use my ruler to make it easier. So I am starting at the edge here. I'm going to come over 3 inches and make a little mark right there. And then I came down 2 inches down the side. And let's make a little pencil mark right there. Hope you can see it. Maybe I'll put it in white pen for you. Make sure it matches. Yep. Okay, so there and right there. And if it doesn't, if the angle's not exactly right, it's not the end of the world. But you can see, so from the right hand side, I measured over 3 inches, then put a dot, and then from the top here I measured down 2 inches. And sadly, I must report, I think I might have already, my favorite Fiskars paper cutter is no longer. I broke it the other day. So I'm really not sure how to use this one. I mean, it's not rocket science, but yep, my angle is wrong. So see, I will fix that. This is what I wanted. Let's fix that. Oh, yeah, I didn't measure down 2 inches on this one, but we're going to fix that right now. We're going to come down. Or I could just do this. Look at me, look at me. You can just trace your previous one, and that should get you as close. That should get you pretty close. Alright, so let's see if we can line this up. I can't see it. Oh, I need my old cutter. Nope. Bear with me, peeps. I got my angle off a little bit. Oh, it's just the slightest little bit. I don't even know if you can see it. I am just going to take some big scissors. See that little sliver there? That's okay. I'll survive. All right. All right, so let's bring this page back in and turn it over. And oops, one thing I forgot to do on this one is to trim off that little extra bulk there. So I'm going to go ahead, remove my paper backing, excuse me, stick that down. let's make sure this one is straight up and down correctly. Okay. We're just going to line up the sides and the bottom. Stick it down. Now, make sure that you give this a good burnish. Okay, so that's flap number 1. This is flap number 2. We did the same thing here. So we're just going to go ahead form the little pocket. Come on now, let go. Okay. And we're going to add it to the front of the next flap. So I want them to face each other. Hope you can see that. And I will cover that up with a black marker. It looks like it never happened. So we can set this one aside for now. And let's just turn this over, and we're going to do the back of that one. And this is going to have, how did I do this? Like this. We are going to have 2 like gatefold flaps that are going to close towards each other. So you want 2 pieces of your cardstock, and they should measure 3 3/8 by 6 7/8. And then we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the 3 3/8 inch side, or on the shorter side. So put on your scoreboard 3 3/8 on the top and score at 1/2 inch. We're going to this is just not cooperating today. We're going to do that on both pieces. Let me put some of this stuff away. So who else has a mess on their desk every single time they craft? Me. Okay. Let's see. I opened a new roll of score tape. It's got that new score tape smell that we all love. Okay. This is 3/8 inch score tape. You can find it at Country Recreations. Okay, so now let's fold on those score lines. And we want to make sure we give this a good burnish. We want a nice crisp fold. Okay, so we'll do something like that. And we'll make sure our page is right side up, so the pocket's on the bottom. Alright, and let's remove our paper backing, or go ahead and add your wet glue. I'm going to turn mine like this on the side so that I can see it. I'm just going to line up my folded edge with the edge of my page. Try not to have it hang over on either the top or the bottom. Give it a good burnish. And let's do the other one. Same way. Oops. Of course I put it on upside down, but it doesn't matter. bit short. Ah. Okay, everybody hold their breath. I just have to remove this. It's just up a little too high. Nobody move. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to try to line that up one more time. There we go. Perfect. So you should have that little bit of a gap in between the two. And if you know what this is, if you know, you know, best crafting tool ever invented. I'm never getting rid of that. I'm not even sure you can buy that anymore. Okay. All right. So then we'll just do a closure on this. I'm thinking probably just some seam binding on that. So that is our two flaps. So I'm going to bring the book back in. So if you remember, ooh, don't look at my horrible hair. This acetate pocket is going to be the first one. So let's grab some wet glue. Ooh. We're going to actually use some of our art glitter glue, which I love, or you can use whatever you like. It's just what I prefer. You want to make sure that when you put this in, this page is facing down, the acetate pocket's facing down to the right or down. Okay. Give that a little bit of, I have my gluey wipe ready. Let's give it a good burnish here. On this side, then on this side. Okay. So that page is in. Next is this page. So you see we're going to put this one here so that they face each other. Okay. Let's add some glue. Add some to the other side. Like, don't let your glue get too close to the bottom of your hinge, or where your hinge attaches to the spine. So again, we're going to take this one. I'm going to be careful of the flaps on the back, and just go ahead and add it in. One. Okay, you don't want to go past your score line there. Just give yourself like a 1/16 of an inch, a little smidge. Because you don't want, actually I'm a little too far over. There we go. You don't want any interference. When you turn the page, you don't want to hear it go. Sometimes it will. Oops, and I just moved it. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, there we go. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so you want it to freely open and close, and don't worry about all this glue on here. This is going to get covered up with pattern paper. So this is right flap 2, the back of right flap 2. So there we have our acetate pocket. We're going to put some fun stickers on there. We have our 2 mirror pockets, and then we have our gatefold flaps on the right, and then our center flap we did earlier has a magnet and a pocket. And we have our left side pocket with the flap. Then we have our 2 flaps. We're going to actually put, I'll just use the scrap piece in through here, and that will hold these 2 flaps down. Then we have another flap pocket here, and a belly band here. So that is our book so far. Actually, we need to add the tags to these 2 flaps. So let me get all this out of the way, and I will be right back. And we'll get moving on that. Okay, and the last page, or the last flap for each side, the right and the left, you're going to want to cut 2 pieces of your cardstock that measure 5 by 7. Okay, and then we are just going to add some wet glue. I'm going to add the wet glue to the inside here, the inside of my hinge. And just line it up. You don't want to get too close to your fold, as we've done through the whole book. Don't get too close to your score line. Oops, grab my baby wipe is still wet. But so yeah, so that actually becomes the last page. I had a little bit of a change in the design. So this is just the page that we're going to actually mat. You'll see when we get there, when we do the matting. So then we're going to do the same thing over on this side, because we cut 2 pieces that are 5 by 7. Okay, just attaching that. Line it up with the bottom of your hinge. Don't go over your fold line or your score line, fold line. Okay, give it a good burnish. Okay, so now we have all of our pages in our book, and the way this will close is you can close it however you'd like to close it. I always start on left, right, left, right, left. Then you bring the right hand side over and close on the left. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a belly band that has these little tags, and I'll show you. I did one side already. So if you recall, the last thing we did was put in these 5 by 7 flaps. On the back of the flap, I made a little waterfall with six of these little, I forget what these measure. These are from top to bottom. These are 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and they are the Graphic 45 artist trading tags in ivory. No, I wish I had them in black, but ivory will work. And you get 12 pieces in this pack, and this will be, you can get these at Country Craft Creations. They are linked in the description below. If I haven't said it already, everything that I've used here in this project, I believe it's everything so far, can be found at Country Craft Creations. So yeah, so I already put it in the left side, and I'll show you how I tied this. So it looks a little bulky there, and it will actually settle down once the book you know, we start moving around the book and putting the papers in the books and etc., etc. So we just need to make this little waterfall for the right side flap. So I found it easiest to start with my little belly band that measures 2.5 by 8. We're going to put this in our scoreboard on the 8-inch side. The 8 inches is across the top. And we're going to score it 1/2 inch. And you can come over here and score it 7.5, or you can turn it around and score it 1/2 inch again. Up to you. So before I do anything else, I'm going to put my score tape. And I do recommend here using a very strong adhesive. I mean, wet glue will work just fine. But I am going to use score tape. And I might add a couple of dots of wet glue to it, just for some little extra something. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold on those score lines and give it a really good burnish here. Do the same on the other side. Okay, now you can choose to cover this with pattern paper if you'd like. Excuse me, but tiny little pieces of the slivers of the black will show through. I think it's a waste of the gorgeous pattern paper, so I didn't do that on mine, but feel free to do on yours whatever you like. So I'm going to put that back over in the, oops, nope, sorry, forgot. So you're going to take 6 of these little tags. Aren't they just adorable? They're little petite tags. I put this in my scoreboard with the, what is this called? The eyelet, or the hole on the tag on the right hand side. And then I scored it 1/2 inch on all. Actually, I did 5 of them, so I will show you. Oops. Okay, so we're going to put it in our scoreboard with the eyelet on the right hand side. And I'm going to score it 1/2 inch, and I'm going to actually give it a double score because this is actually a little bit of the stiff paper. Let's not cut our fingers off. Let's add some score tape. Score tape is fine here on these. I don't think that you need wet glue. It should hold it down really well. So I'm going to fold and burnish. Give it a good burnish. I feel like that's crooked. But, oh, okay. Alright, so I recommend attaching these to your belly band before you put the belly band in the book. I found it to be much easier. So I'm just going to go ahead, take the first one, put the folded edge right up to, you can see I have that flap folded under. So again, I just like to do this to help me keep everything straight. And I'm going to line up the folded edge with the folded edge of the belly band. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a good burnish. So I'm going to take 3 of these, and line up the folded edge. So we're folding that 1/2 inch tab under, lining that up, just butting that right up against the next one. Now you see where I said the black is going to just show through a little bit? That doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, you can put some pattern paper down, but nobody's going to see it, so. All right, next one. Fold on the score line, line everything up, and stick it down. So now you have 3, but I'm going to go ahead and do a really good burnish. So you have 3 of them. It should look like that. So we started like this. I'm going to turn this around and put it this way. Okay, so we're going to have 3 coming down, and then we're going to have 3 going up. So we're just going to kind of start over at on the other end. Fold on your score line. Tuck that 1/2 inch tab under, because remember that's going to hold the belly band in your book. And then line everything up. Oopsies. Okay. You'll see everything wants to pop up like that, and that's okay. Take number 2. Or number 5, depends on how you look at it. Line it up. All right, and then the last one. Oh no, I stuck it down too soon. Oh, there we go. Whew. No harm, no foul. Okay, line everything back up again. And stick it down. Alright. Give it a good burnish. So now you're like, now what the heck do I do with that? So I just was going like this. Doot, 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 doot. So super cute, right? Alright, so then what I did is I have this gorgeous red. It looks kind of rusty on my screen, but this is a nice, rich red. I just took 2 pieces, 12 inches. Actually, 12 inches is a little too much. Well, no. Let's do 12 inches. 12 and 12. I am going to get out my my pinking shears, just because that helps. It's not... I mean, fray check is the best, or you could add some glue or glitter glue to the ends to stop. Jeez, I forgot to cut it in half. But I just use my pinking shears. It just minimizes the fraying. All right, so then I'm just going to take, oh, I don't know, about 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch of score tape. Pick front or back, doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, so then what I did was I just left the bottom 2. I just left them like that. Then I took get off. I took a piece of one of the seam bindings and just feed it through the back of the second tag, Okay, just kind of pull it through like that. Again, leave the first one or the last one on the other side down. Take your piece of seam binding. You can use ribbon here, you can use string, you can use jute, you can use baker's twine, you can use whatever you like. And then I'm going to feed that up through the other 2. Okay, so again, leave those 2 down. You can fold down the first 2. And I just wanted to make sure you don't want to pull it too tightly, but you want to make sure it's flat. Come on now. Come on. Okay. Okay. And then go ahead. It feels a little fiddly at first, trying to hold down the flaps. And it's going to bounce right back up because it's not stuck to anything. But I mean, how cute is that? I thought that was so cute. All right, so then we're going to come back to our book here, our folio. And on the back of the last flap on the right side, and you know, because there was so much black here, I'm actually I happen to have some white cardstock on my desk. Just going to make it easier so I could see. Just tuck that under there. Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter which side is the top and which side is the bottom because they're both the same. I am just going to lay this flat, make sure I straighten it out. And I am just eyeballing where the center is. Okay? Just eyeball. Is it straight? I don't know. I hope so. Looks straight to me. And then I'm going to turn the whole thing around. Oh, goodness. So, oh, I bumped my camera. I'm so sorry. Come back. You're probably dizzy now. And I am going to stick down the second part. Okay. And there we go. Let's move this back. So we now have, okay, there we go. Okay, so there, now our space is all filled in. There we have, so our book is made. I think let's go with the ribbon as the closure. Look how pretty this ribbon is. It's just this beautiful, really nice navy blue. It's sheer, or I think this is organza it's called. Pretty sure it's organza. So I'm just going to take, let me see. I'm going to take one piece that is 12 inches long, 12-ish. Then I'm going to take another that's maybe, I don't know, 14 inches, because we're going to wrap it around the back. So let's take the longer piece. Let me see. Yep. Okay. Let's take the longer piece, add some score tape. Whoops. Take about a 1/2 inch. Actually, this is 3/8 score tape. Okay, make sure we get a good stick. And take the backer off. Alright, so and I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to find, so this is my back cover. I'm going to center-ish. You can measure the center if you want. Okay. So I want this to come across, you know, I don't want to tie it down or tape it down to the spine. And then my other one, I thought I put the seam binding on, or the score tape on. Do one more piece. All right, now just line this up. Oh, that's not the center. It's a little short, it's not quite center, but that's okay. So, whoopsies. It's stuck to me. Come on now. All right, so I'm going to put it right there. Oh, no, I want to do it this way. Sorry. So if my, there we go. So you want the score tape to be towards the left, pointing towards the left. So then when this wraps up this way, when you see what I chose for the cover, you'll be like, oh, the blue looks perfect. Okay. All right, so there is our book. So I am going to decorate this, and I will be back to show you the final result.